Alright, so here's my zombie deck. This deck is insane, the most powerful deck that I've played so far, and I've play tested the crap out of this deck, put so many different monsters, floodgates in here, traps, everything that you would want in a deck. This deck can pretty much do. The only thing this deck really doesn't do all that well is just inflict burn damage. So let's take a look at how this deck kind of plays. And I'll try to go quickly, but this deck it basically it plays based off of randomness. So alright, so looks like we got access to our full combo right here. So we'll start off with Ziamine. We also drew into Full Force Virus, which is good. So these two cards are going to be pretty powerful, but mostly this will be your main combo line is the Ziamine. So we're going to go Ziamine to grab Foxy Tune, and then Foxy Tune to basically send itself, and then one other card. So in this particular case, I'm going to send Chang-Chi. Chang-Chi is pretty powerful for a good reason. I'll show you guys why later. So we're going to go Deer Note, and then go into Chaos Ruler. Activate Chaos Ruler, activate Deer Note to basically summon out Foxy Tune. And then our mills get started. So we actually hit a really good card right here, which is Zombie Necro or Shinobi Necro. This will be pretty vital for our extensions, so running this card at 2 could be actually pretty good for this deck if you run this at 2, because if you like milling it and then hitting it with this card, it's pretty powerful. So running this at 2 could be beneficial. Also, let's see, we'll have to try to get our light into the graveyard as well, which will be the Foxy Tune. But we have a way of doing that. We just have to find a way to extend plays, in which usually there's some form of extension when you start milling a lot of cards. So in this case, we'll discard the Chaos Ruler right here, and then mill more cards, and then we're going to special summon something out. So we could special summon out Diviner right here, which is insane for this one reason that I'm about to showcase right here. So let's special summon out Diviner, activate Diviner. Diviner is going to allow us to activate Kelbeck of all cards. Let's see. Do we have any traps other than those? No. So since we don't have any traps milled other than these two, I'm not going to mill Kelbeck. I'm going to mill Elgato instead. Elgato will give us access to even more mills. Because of those cards that's in the graveyard, we can mill even more. So I'm going to send more cards to the graveyard, milling an additional amount of cards. So I hit full or deck devastation virus right here, which is absolutely insane as far as the mills go. So when I do mill Kelbeck, I can set this card right here. So yeah. Alright, so let's activate. Let's see here, let's see. We milled one of our grass, two of our grass. I want to put grass back into the deck. So my mills weren't all that good. I don't have access to getting Zombie World into my graveyard, or back onto the field, I mean. Well, actually I do. Unizombie. Unizombie is my line. So yeah, Unizombie is the line right there. So what I'm going to do is activate Mizuki. Mizuki will summon out Unizombie. Unizombie will activate, and basically it'll change this card's level to send a Necro World Banshee. Then I can activate Necro World Banshee. turns everything into zombies, right? And then why not just go ahead and discard. I'm gonna change discard's level. Why not just go ahead and discard Keldo as well, and then I can go into Vampire Sucker. So what I'm gonna do is go discard plus discard to go into Vampire Sucker, and then I can activate Vampire Sucker to give my opponent a monster. Doesn't matter what I give them, but I do want to give them something, so then that way I can bring this card back. So now I can go to Sprite Elf. I can activate Elf right here to bring Vampire Sucker back. Just that easy. And I still got my Chaos Ruler play. Plague Spreader Zombie can resummon itself back by placing one card from my hand on top of the deck. So what I'm going to do, activate Chaos Ruler. Let's banish Foxy Tune. And we'll also banish Shinobi Necro. Like I said before, this is where my extension kind of comes in. Activate Shinobi Necro. And this is where things are about to get even crazier. So I have the Mad Mauler right here. This card is insane. If you ever have the Mad Mauler in your graveyard, I'm going to show you guys how this card right here can be really powerful for combo extensions. So I'm going to go into Baron de Fleur. And the only reason I was summoning out this monster was so that way I can use Sprite Elf, because you need a monster on their side of the field so you can special summon a Link 2, which will give me back my Vampire Sucker. So I can activate Baron de Fleur, pop this card right here. Then I can activate the Mad Mauler to reduce this card's level by 2. Then go into Red Eyes Dragon, or Red Eyes Dragon Zombie Lure, whatever the case may be, whatever this card's name is. I'm going to set it right there. So then that way they can't target it. So when I go to activate its effects, Baron de Fleur will come back. And then from here, I can keep making plays if I want to. See, do I have anything else? I got this card in the graveyard, which is pretty good. I could keep making plays, but as of right now, my plays look good. I still got to play with Plague Spreader Zombie, but there's nothing to really summon with that. So there's almost no point in really bringing it back. But right now, I'll end with Baron de Fleur. I'll also end with Doom King right here. I'll have the Vampire Sucker, Sprite Elf, plus the Zombie Dragon Lord. And then I got Graveyard Shuffles right here, right? Plus Full Force Virus, and then Gravekeeper's Trap. So let me show how this works. So I'm going to turn my toggle on, and then just end my turn. And then on my opponent's draw phase, I can activate this card right here to bring back my Baron de Fleur. I can also activate my Gravekeeper's Trap, which this right here is going to be insane. What I'm about to do right now is about to be absolutely insane. So I could activate Full Force Virus right now and destroy everything with 1500 or less defense. It would also destroy my Doom King, but I can use that monster negate first. So looks like he doesn't really have a way to break my board, but I do want to showcase what you can do with this deck first. I don't want to just pass turn, right? So this board right here is like insane. So we're going to activate Gravekeeper's Trap. I'm going to discard with Kelbeck, and I'm going to add to my hand another Kelbeck. Activate this Kelbeck. This is going to mill 5 cards, and it'll allow me to set something. So this is where I can set one of these cards. This is going to be like insane. Now I just want to showcase how powerful this stuff is, right? So I can set the deck devastation virus, and right here I'm going to activate Sprite Elf. I'm going to activate Doom King now. I just want to go ahead and get access to that Doom King. Let's just go ahead and bring out Diviner. Activate Diviner to start milling. Then we're going to activate Doom King to banish this card. Just imagine if you're playing against somebody and they're setting up a board like this, like all of these cards to play through, and we're going to banish. Let's banish this face down monster right here, and we can send Elgato to go ahead and start milling more cards, right? And then look, we can negate with both of these cards right here, but I'm gonna get rid of this negate right here for a full force virus. Look at that, half his hand is gone. All he's got is these 2 traps, right, or 1 trap and 1 spell. And you know what that tells me? I can see what cards he's got in his hand, making this more powerful, harder for him to deal with, right? More powerful. So now I can call a trap or a spell card that I think that is powerful for the Plunder Patrol, that I think can get him back into the game. I can call a hand trap with Gravekeeper's Trap when it becomes the next draw phase for him. And then I can even send more cards. So let's see, he got 15 cards, I got 17. I'm going to send from my side of the field. I don't have any targets for Gozuki, which is completely fine. And look, I got 4 cards that can shuffle stuff back in. So if I need to make combo plays, I know that he just set a trap right there. Which means, as soon as my turn starts, I can pretty much just pop that card. But before I do that, let's do this. I'm gonna let Doom King come back. And I can banish something if I want to, but I don't want to right now. I don't want to. There's no point in banishing anything at this very moment. So what I'm gonna do is just this is brutal. This is absolutely brutal for my opponent. So look, I got Rivalry, got this. I just want to showcase how powerful these plays can be. So let's just do that. Let's showcase. So I'm only going to activate this just to clear space on the field, so then that way I can make more plays. So there's nothing that's going to get destroyed right here anyways, but I can bring a card back with this. I could also use Mizuki to make plays, and there's one card in particular that makes plays insane, and if it's in my graveyard, it'll be insane for sure. So it's not in my graveyard, but that is a-okay. So what I'm going to do is bring something onto their side of the field. Why not? Activate Baron de Fleur just to pop it, just because, just to show how much stuff you can do. Let's activate Sprite Elf just because, why not? Like, I'm just activating effects at this point just to activate effects. You don't necessarily have to. I'm going to use this plus this, just clear up some space on the field. Also, it's a pretty powerful monster. I'm literally just clearing space on the field so then that way I can make more plays. So I'm going to put Rivalry. Alright. And I got Deck Devastation Virus, Full Force Virus, plus Eradicator, Epidemic Virus. So I can use all of these cards to be absolutely just devastating for my opponent, and I'm going to showcase how this will work. So I'm just going to end my turn right here. I don't really have intention of just beating them right now. I just want to showcase this. So I'm going to stop that Cosmic Cyclone with my Baron de Fleur. Of course, I know that this has to be the trap because we saw that he still has that spell, and it is a-okay to use the effect of Baron de Fleur right here. That negate really doesn't like hurt me in any way. So now I can declare a name, and this will allow me to see what cards he's using, right? For the sake of this, I'm gonna just type in whatever I want, and then I can activate the zombie dragon lord right here, but I don't want to do so. He gets golden hair, it gets destroyed, so basically he doesn't get anything, right? Now look at all these effects I can activate. Look at all these effects I can activate. I'm gonna let my Ballard Draw come back. Alright, so I didn't get a chance to activate this card because he skipped over the main phase a little too quick for me. Wasn't paying attention, but I was trying to showcase that and how powerful that is. No, I don't want to activate that. I don't want to activate, no. But anyways, so let's just go ahead and shuffle some stuff back because I see why I couldn't use this effect because everything's milled out already. But let's just shuffle some stuff back. So I'm going to shuffle back my Kelbeck, Agito. We'll also shuffle back Necroface. Necroface will unbanish stuff, Agito. And what else do we want to shuffle back? Let's also put back one of our zombie worlds. And then we're going to activate Gravekeeper's Trap right here. This will discard the Kelbeck. And then I'm going to grab another Kelbeck. And look at this. I can set another trap. And at this point, I can pick whichever trap I want. So now, I've already used Deck Devastation Virus, Full Force Virus. Now I can use Eradicator on them too. And just in case I need to see what I need to call spell or trap, I can literally call spell or trap by just looking at what he has when I get ready to activate it. So now I can just activate this, pop this card. I see it's a trap. I remember that this is a spell card then. So my opponent really can't get back into this game. I could activate Sprite Elf right here, bring back Diviner if I want to, play Spreader, Mad Mauler, whatever the case may be. I'm just going to activate Diviner. Why not? Diviner will send, let's send Agito. Why not? How many cards do he got left? So I just negated the effect of that because I didn't want to use the effect right there because I don't have a lot of cards left in my deck. He doesn't have a lot. Milling that plus milling more would have done absolutely nothing for either of us. I'm just trying to show how powerful these cards can be, and I can recycle these. Let's recycle some more stuff too. I kind of want to show the recursion of this deck too. So I want to show how good this deck is at recurring cards. So let's put back Zombie World. Let's also put back, I'm just trying to put back cards that I know I don't really need, but that are really good for like recursion effects. Exchange of Spirit is really good for recursion. If you're about to deck out, you can literally just put this card onto the field, flip it over, and it'll just shuffle all your graveyard cards back into the deck, buying you more time. And then I'll just put back Zombie Vampire. Why not? It'll automatically go back to the extra deck, so I can use it again. So yeah, so those are some of my combo lines that I can do right there. I could still go into Underworld Goddess if I needed to. So let's just do some damage here. Not a whole lot of damage, just a little bit, because I still want to show the recursion. So, alright. Still want to show the recursion. My opponent has not touched me either, by the way. Alright, so he grabs Soul Release. Soul Release is super, super, super powerful. I don't want that card. This is the perfect time to actually activate this because I don't want Soul Release going off. So, what am I going to do? Call spell cards. Bam. Both his spells gone. No hand for him whatsoever. This card can bring something back if I wanted to, which is exactly what I'm going to do. And in this case, should I bring back my Doom King? Absolutely not. We're going to do something even crazier. We're going to go Hela. Hela is going to tribute off the Diviner right here. And this would allow us to bring out this card right here. This is the card that's going to mill out the last of his cards. I could have also went, at any point right there, I could have went Doom King if I wanted to. I could have went Artifact Scythe if I wanted to. Or I could have went Divine. Well, Diviner's already there. But pretty much you guys understand what I'm saying. There's lines there, right? There's lines that you can make plays. You can do whatever. There's multiple lines. And the Plunder Patrol is one of the more powerful like decks that you can play against. Let me put this on auto so I don't get so many interruptions. So most of those viruses all kind of expire coming up pretty soon, but it doesn't really matter if I'm being honest. It does not matter. So for the sake of just showing recursion, let's do this. Alright, Gravekeeper's Trap. I got 10 cards left here. Let's go. We're going to discard Kelbeck right here. And we're going to add another Kelbeck. Kelbeck effect activates. We're going to set Deck Devastation Virus this time. And this time I'm going to do something a little crazy. I'm going to reset this card right here. Or not necessarily reset, but I'm going to tribute it off so then that way I can get its banish effect back. And I'm going to bring Doom King back out. This will also mill off some of my opponent's cards. Mills off 2 of their cards. And then I'm just going to attack just a little bit right here. Not too much. I haven't actually drawn into the one card that I need. But there it is right there, Necroface. That's the card that I need, is Necroface. So he draws his big bang shot right there. It gets absolutely decimated. And what I'm going to do right here is activate Deck Devastation Virus, getting rid of this card yet again. And of course, it's going to come right back anyways. My opponent has to pretty much end their turn. They don't have a play. And then this is where I'm going to basically extend the match. Extend the match a little bit. So that just for the sake of just showing how this kind of plays out. So I know they can't activate spell cards. So discard one card, then target one face-up monster, banish that target. I don't want him banishing anything, so we're going to give him Big Bang Shot. Gonna give him another Big Bang Shot. Just a bunch of worthless ass cards that he can't do anything with. Let's see what else. Using monsters from your hand or field as fusion material. We don't want that happening. Give him just a bunch of worthless ass cards. That's what we're gonna do. Give him a bunch of worthless ass cards just to extend the match. And then there's one monster that I want to put back into my deck, which is Necroface. And the only reason I'm doing this is just to showcase the power of this particular deck. And would you look at that? It milled off some more of his cards. And if I wanted to, I can mill more. Trust me. It could go crazy. So I'm just going to end my turn. He can't make a play. We know what he got. I put it there. Oh, this is so brutal for my opponents. I'm just waiting to draw it, that's all. So I can show how the recursion works. So we pretty much know what he has right here. So none of that really matters, but doesn't matter at all actually. So I can just set this card right here and it'll basically swap the graveyard for the deck. I don't want to do it that way though. I don't want to just swap my graveyard for my deck. I want to do something a little bit different that's going to play out a little bit different. I don't want him to deck out right here, so of course I am going to activate Medora to give him back some cards. So let's give him back a bunch of shitty ass cards. Give him back 2 Big Bangs and then that card, right? Yeah, I'll just give him back those. And then for myself, I'm going to put Zombie World back into my deck. Why not? It makes it take longer to get to my Necroface, but I don't care. What I'll do is just pass turn. Let me just toggle off. I know he can't do anything, so I'll just toggle off just so I can show the recursion of how this all works. Okay. And there's a reason I discard this card right here. There's a reason why I discarded that card in particular. This is the very brutal floodgate for your opponents. Hard to play through. So hard to play through floodgate. He's got 2 cards left. I got 1 card left. So I know what this card is right here. So all I need to do is pretty much just end my turn. I'm going to discard the Xtreme. Why not? This is about to be my favorite part. This is my favorite part right here. The necro face. Now watch this. This is how you recur all of the cards that you want to recur, right? No matter what it is. So Fairy Tale Snow, you activate. We can banish something that's on the field. Doesn't matter what it is. I'm going to banish this because it's the easiest card to get back to. So we're going to banish that. And then we're going to also banish something else that's on the field. The one that I don't mind banishing is this card as well. The Bone Tower. Now I'm doing this to make extra space on the field, so then that way once Necroface gets summoned, it'll be placed to or once discard. Once this card hits the field, it'll be another space to summon something. Now I could just negate it, but with Doom King, but I don't want to do that. So let's just go ahead and start making banishes. So I'm going to banish Keystone. That's one of my main banish cards that I want to banish. We're also going to banish, let's banish these cards. This card. Oh no, you banish stuff. You banish cards to summon out Fairy Tale Snow. Oh no. Then, you know what we're going to do? Let's activate this card. Put Fairy Tale Snow back into the graveyard yet again. I was wondering why it wouldn't let me use my Fairy Tale Snow effect multiple times. It's because I didn't toggle on. So I'm going to toggle on this time. I'll do it right this time. Don't worry. So we're going to banish this. Let's start banishing some more stuff. So make sure you toggle on right there. Don't be a dummy like me. Grass looks greener. Grass looks greener. Shiranui Solitaire. We'll banish. You know what? We'll leave one Shiranui Solitaire in the graveyard. Banish Unit Zombie. Banish Call by the Grave. This. Activate Fairy Tale Snow yet again. Look, you can activate it. It's not once per turn, so you can activate it multiple times. So you banish the cards that you really don't need. This is where the timer cannot. It'll be a pain because the timer is not on your side right here. So this is where shit gets rough. Foxy Tune, Ogre Dance. We'll banish one of the Diviners. We got 2 of them here. We'll banish Kelbeck, Agito, Call by the Grave, Emergency Teleport. Yeah, the rest of the stuff we'll just leave here. Why not? Or actually, let's see. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know what? I'll activate it one more time. One more time to get the maximum amount out of this. So we'll banish this. The rest of this stuff we're going to leave in here because it's all pieces that I really love being in the graveyard. They're all cards that lead to combos being in the graveyard. And we're going to banish zombie worlds that are in our hand. We'll banish this Agito, the Shiranui Solitaire, and then the Xtreme that's in our hand. Would you look at that? And then to keep Fairy Tale Snow in the graveyard, I'm just going to negate its effect. No, it came out anyways. It's okay. It is a-okay. Came out anyways. Then we're going to activate Necroface. How many cards? We got 37 cards banished right now. Let's go ahead and do it. And for the sake of just putting an extra card into my opponent's graveyard, so then that way they get 2 cards back too, just going to banish something. Why not? Why not just give them back something? Why not be generous? So we'll banish something that can't do anything. This card won't do anything, it looks like. If this card is in your graveyard, discard 1 card, special summon. Why not? Why not? Fuck it. And look at the attack on this. Look, watch this. Look at that attack. Gave him back some cards, gave myself back some cards. I can activate this. I can mill more cards. Like, it's just insane. So now I can flip Rivalry. I can swap the deck for the graveyard if I wanted to. I can do whatever I want to at this point. Like, why not? Why not do that too? So we're going to discard this and grab, let's grab Kelbeck. Why not? And then let's just go ahead and win the game. After I bring back Baron de Fleur. Alright, so I'm going to activate Hela right here. Hela will get rid of, let's get rid of this card. Why not? Bring back our Floodgate. And that's game. That is game. My opponent can't do anything. This wouldn't be able to lead to anything anyways because they can't special summon. That's how you special summon. I know this video is long, but I think showcasing all of this stuff, I know this is 20 turns in, but I pretty much set up this crazy ass board in turn 1 if you guys remember, and the rest of it is just showing the recursion, everything that you can do. I put all my shufflers back into the deck. If I want to, I can shuffle my opponents, give them back cards, and keep the game going forever and forever and forever. Of course, I don't want to do that. I could just keep banishing cards from their deck, and then while I'm shuffling, once I get all my shufflers back in, just keep putting stuff back into their deck, banish everything from mines, and then just activate Necroface all over again. It looks like he's going to go for an attack right here. Do I want him to attack me? Let's show this. Let's show this, right? Look, Algul Mazera, this card right here, if a card will be destroyed, basically you can banish this to protect it. Does nothing. So recursion is crazy. Let's go ahead and recur a lot of his cards for him, which is exactly what I'm going to do. Do it in his end phase though, so then that way nothing he's doing is going to matter. I just recurred, put all of those cards into my graveyard right here. Got all my shufflers in here, and my deck is filled with the other cards. And I'm just going to attack my opponent for game. It pretty much reset everything, recycled everything as well. Let's just attack and call it a night. hopefully you guys like this video and that this all was kind of informative to show how powerful the zombies can be, how many opportunities, options you have, everything that you can do. I know it was a long video, but it's consistent. It's against one of the most powerful decks. You can see over all those turns they couldn't do anything. I know it's just solo mode, but that was the most powerful solo mode. I think is the Plunder Patrols. Um, or even maybe the Diviners could be very powerful because they can negate a lot. But yeah, this deck literally can just do so much. You have access if you get this card milled, which it was one of the last cards I ended up milling. But if you get this card milled, which happens, if you get this card milled, which happens, if you get this card milled, those are all big time floodgates. Any of those three, hard for your opponent to play through. Most decks can't play through not being able to special summon, except for decks like Floowandereeze. A lot of decks can't play through the top two of their cards going straight to the graveyard every time they special summon something, which is another floodgate for them. Artifact Scythe, a lot of decks can't play through being Scythe locked. Floowandereeze can't play through it, of course, but there are things to deal with decks like Floowandereeze. If you activate Deck Devastation Virus, it's done for your opponents. They can't do anything. Eradicator, this is like extremely good going against other decks. Like if somebody's playing like an Eldritch zombie deck, you declare traps, destroys all of their traps. What can they do, right? Let's say they're playing. Let's just take a look at some decks. It's hard for me to just sit here and like just kind of talk about this. I know it's a long video, but why not? This is kind of a potential for decks. Let's say they're playing like something like this. You can see what they're playing because when you start milling cards, you're milling their cards plus your cards. So before you even declare something, you're not absolutely guessing because you see what deck they're playing. If they're playing something like this, all you have to really do is just declare traps to pop Schism or spells to pop these cards. They can't go Invocation if you declare spells. So if you see this, if you see that they have Alistair declare spells, they can't play this. They can't play Meltdown. Destroys their strategy of how they can even get to this card in the first place. It becomes difficult for them to play through this. I accidentally discarded that card, but whatever. I don't need to show this deck right here. I'll show it anyways. Why not? This is just a deck that I put together that's designed to just bring out Relinquish Fusion. If you were to play against this deck, all you really have to do is just call spells, and you pretty much beat this deck. Because if you call spells, I can never actually get my fusions out unless I were to summon this plus something else, and that's extremely hard to do in one turn with this particular deck. So you pretty much win if you declare spells there. A deck like Dark Magician, this deck has so many things that it needs. It needs spells, it needs traps, it needs everything. So if you do any of the viruses, really, it destroys how this deck plays. If you do the one that does defense, they can't summon their Magician's Rod, meaning they can't search for other cards. And it destroys Magician Souls plus Rod, so it'll be even harder for them to get anything out. That's attack or defense, really. If you only can do the attack one, then they'll still be able to use rods, but at that point they can't use souls, so it kind of makes it hard for them. If you declare spells, you get rid of all of the spell cards that are in the Dark Magician deck. If you declare traps, they can't use Eternal Souls for 3 turns. That's devastating for a Dark Magician deck. What else? Let's look at Floowandereeze. You declare spells, they're done for. Now this one has a ton of different spells right here, like the Advents, the maps, devastating. They lose those cards, devastating for them. This one trap card is not going to do it for Flow Under Rees. They really need access to that map. This is a big card to search. They really need Advent of Adventure. This deck is already extremely bricky, so to make it even more bricky just destroys them. And this is the Rongo variant of the deck. But oh yeah, another thing about this. If you activate the virus cards, either of the two viruses, either of the two viruses, both devastating for this deck, especially if you get the defense one. The defense one destroys this card and this card. The only thing they'll be able to hold in their hand is the Mist Valley Apex Avian. So the viruses devastating for this deck. Um, B Troopers, the viruses for B Troopers is devastating. Almost everything in B Troopers is under 1500 attack until you get to the Battle Wasp and then cards like the Scary Moth and then this card here. But you need these cards up here to even get to these and be able to start making plays with these anyways. So with that being said, the viruses destroy these cards in B Troopers, so B Troopers can't play. Then let's look at some of the more top tier decks that a lot of people play. What if you get playing Sprite? If you play Sprite, everything in Sprite, if it gets hit by that virus, everything in Sprite is done for. There's nothing in a Sprite deck that won't go straight to the graveyard if you activate that that Eradicator Epidemic virus. They're pretty much done for. They lose. It's GG. It's a wrap. Here's my Scareclaw deck. I know nobody else's Scareclaw deck looks like this, but Scareclaw's done for if you hit them with that virus, because everything is 1500 attack or less. Well, in the main cards. The rest of the cards here don't really matter. If you hit Scareclaws with the spells that destroy the spells, when they go to search for Reichardt, gets destroyed right away. So both are brutal for this deck as well. Let's see. Mutants don't really matter. All you gotta do is just declare traps, and this deck's done for. You declare traps, pretty much a GG's. Soon as they try to get this card done for popped, if you activate either of the Eradicators, these two cards popped. Well, all three of these cards popped, so they can't make plays with none of those. Which these two decks right here aren't considered top tier, but I'm just showcasing what happens if you play the live twin variant of Sprites. Doesn't matter. Viruses popped, nothing they can do. Let's see. Venture Prank Kids. This is a deck that I hadn't played in a long time, but look, everything gets popped. They can't play. It doesn't matter. Prank Kids cannot hold up to the viruses. Let's look at Umi Control. Umi Control looks like Umi Control can hold up to the viruses slightly. Except for the jellyfish here. Jellyfish will get popped. But this is the main floodgate of the deck, so it can hold its own quite well, except for if you use spells. If you declare spells, it pops the legendary oceans, so they're pretty much done for there, so they won't be able to actually continue to make plays. Let's see, Branded Despia. Branded Despia, all you have to do with this deck is literally just declare spells. They can't play Branded Fusion, meaning everything else is just a sitting duck. Literally can't do anything with these cards because they're all designed to search these spells. You just declare spells, they have to scoop. GG's. Let's see. The rest of these decks really don't matter too much. The rest of the decks really don't matter too much. They're all kind of the same concept here. Like Sun Avalon is pretty good, but any virus with this deck pretty much destroys it because this is the main monster. They can't get this out. They pretty much lose the match. So any virus that targets monsters will destroy this card. They can never really play. Anything if you activate the one that stops spell cards, then they can't use the Black Garden. They can't use none of the combo pieces to continue to make plays. GG's, it's a wrap. They pretty much lose. And if you activate the traps, you stop their negate. But I would go spells in this particular deck because the pieces that they need to kind of combo with will get destroyed. And of course, like I say, this card right here is the core of the deck. If you stop this card, they're done. Let's also look at Sorcerer Tenyi. Sorcerer Tenyi can play through most of the viruses. I'm not gonna lie on that. So both the main starter and Sorcerers can play through the main two viruses that target monsters. So nothing you can do about that. This one plays through the attack one, but the defense one will get it. And then, of course, Long Yuan, the attack one, will get this one. So they can't go into their level 10s with this one, and they can't use this one. But the Mo Yi play will be there, so just know that. So they can get started. They just can't really extend like that. They can't really go into like the level 10 plays. And then as far as declaring cards, honestly, I would declare traps. I know it's only really blackout and imperm in this deck, but I would declare traps because if you declare spells, all they're really going to do is just try to search Long Yuan. As soon as it hits their hand, it gets popped. If you had that virus, but if you don't want them searching for Long Yuan and you don't have a eradicator for the traps, then of course I would declare spells to prevent them from being able to do this. Use these to search. But yeah. Nordics, this deck is like fun to play, but you don't really have to even try to stop this deck. It stops itself. Zodiac Tri-Brigades, I got Attic Nisters. Attic Nisters, if you see this, you just Scythe lock them and they're done for. They have to scoop if you Scythe lock them, so this deck can't really do anything against the Scythe lock. Here's the funniest thing. I actually played against an Attic Nister deck, and the guy that I was playing against, he summoned out his big boss monster, this card. And the funniest thing is I tributed this card off with Underworld Goddess. And he stuck around. Surprisingly, he stuck around like he was going to be able to continue to make plays. But it did not get better for him. It continuously got worse because I started putting out more and more and more floodgates that absolutely was devastating for him to play through. It was so funny. With my zombie deck, this deck right here, super hard. If you see that they're playing Numerons, you just call spells. Or if you can't call spells, any of the viruses pretty much destroy their two main searchers. So yeah, that's how you stop that. Of course, you're going to get hit with a bunch of lightning storms, a bunch of lava golems and kaijus and all kind of stuff like that. But for the most part, you call spells, they can never really use their Numeron network. And if they grab it, they'll forget that they can't use it, so they'll grab it, it'll get popped, and then they look stupid. So yeah. So hopefully you guys like this video. Hopefully, I know that the video was long, but if you stuck around this long, then that means you really love what I'm talking about with this deck. But yeah, it's pretty good, fun deck to play. There are cards that can be changed around in here if you don't like some cards. If you think something's too bricky or whatever, you can put other engines in here. I think that anything that can get you to at least get started milling with Chaos Ruler. There are other cards that can mill that I don't have in the deck because it's just too hard to summon them. I know there's another Xyz monster that mills 5 cards, but like I say, it's just too hard to summon. And me, I couldn't really find a reason to move any of these cards out of this particular deck, because all of these cards, even though I didn't show me going into all of them, they all can be gone into pretty easily. Abyss Dweller is really good in a mirror match. If somebody starts milling stuff from their side and you have like a level 4 on the field plus like a Mizuki engraved with another level 4, you can literally just put another level 4 on the field, Abyss Dweller, and then it stops your opponents. Actually, if you go look at some of my other videos, I actually did the Baguska on somebody. The Baguska play with this zombie deck, insane, because there's so many floodgates that you can put up, and if they finally get past Baguska and you put up some of those other floodgates, like you have back row floodgates too, so if they like Raigeki you or something, sometimes those back row floodgates can be devastating. And there are other cards that you can use, like there are trap cards that you can use that are like pretty devastating for your opponents to play through. That can build your board back up if something does happen. Um, Namely, let's look at one of them right now. Actually, this card right here, Call of the Haunted. If you were to put this card in your deck, and then let's say you have something like a Red Eyes Zombie Dragon Lord on the field, now this card can bring itself back. Believe me, you can banish one zombie monster you control to special summon this card. So it can bring itself back. But let's say you're on your opponent's turn, right? And you got this card set as just a in case something happens. If they manage to break through your board, right? And this card's in your graveyard and it's on their turn. What you can do, not this one, this one. This card's in your graveyard. What you can do is activate Call of the Haunted, bring back Red Eyes Dragon Zombie Lord or Zombie Dragon Lord, whatever, with Call of the Haunted. Once you do that, then you can use this card's effect while you're on their turn still and just bring back whatever else. Whatever else card you want to bring back, you can pretty much just bring it back. So your floodgates, this pretty much is just a in turn for your opponents. Um, if they stopped your Baguska, if they destroyed it, you can just bring Baguska right back. Still on their turn, bring it right back. Um, if you want to bring back some other monster, well, with that being, maybe you want to artifact scythe lock them, you could do that. If you wanted to bring out Doom King, if you got Baron de Flor in your graveyard, you could bring that out. Whatever the case may be, you could bring out whatever. So you can continue to make plays. So just devastating for your opponents to pretty much play through. So hopefully you guys like this video. If you want to see what I'm playing in the Duelist Cup, toxic ass deck, but it's just basically my runic sprites, or no, Ishizu runics. I'm sorry, Ishizu runics. So yeah. Hopefully you guys liked the video.